Welcome to Solutions Studio. This is a free series on C programming language. If you like these videos, please subscribe to follow along with this series. Also, please like and leave a comment and share the video to help spread this series. Hello and welcome to this episode, and in this episode we discuss about how to write to random access files. So as you might remember, in the previous episode we created a random access file and we initialized all of the values to a default value of an object. In this episode we are going to provide the data manually by the user, and the data that is been provided by the user is going to be recorded on the file, but in a random access style, so that later on when we try to read it, we can specifically read whichever record that we want to read directly. So now you can see here that we have this structure record. It has two members, name and score, and we also have this file, a random access file .dat. So we are saving this file in a special binary format because the function fwrite that you can see in here, this function writes data to the file in a raw type of format. So you can see that the raw data representation is also system dependent. That means that the raw data might not be readable on other systems or by programs produced by other compilers or with different compilation options. So you will see at the end of this program, when we try to open that raw file, we will not be able to read it properly, but we will be able to read it with the proper read functions. Now let's go back to our example. In here we are going to write our data on this file, random access file.dat, and you can see that we have created an object of this structure with some initial values, and after that we are prompting the user to enter the values. Instead of taking the values from here, the user is going to enter the value from the keyboard. We are going to save those records or those values into the name and also into the score of the structure, and we check whether the score is 0 or not, because we have said that if the score is 0, that means that entering the data has completed, and now we can stop the program. So as long as the score is not 0, we continue reading the data, and we will write that data into the file. We will write which data to the file? This record structure, this object of the records structure that was created in here, and also the values were initialized by the user in here. And we also specify how many bytes does this structure takes, and how many bytes it's going to be, and how many bytes is going to be allocated for this record into the file. This is what we have specified in here using the size of operator, and in here we have specified 1. That means that this is only one element. If this object is an array, then we can specify more than one element, but since this is not an array, then we have specified 1 in here. And this is the destination or the stream that the fwrite function is going to write, and it is going to write in the file that we have already specified in here. And this function also returns a value. Usually if the value is 0, that means that the content of the structure has been written successfully to the file. Otherwise, if it's some other value, that means that there was an error writing to the file. And once again we will prompt the user to enter another name and score, and the while loop will keep writing the data to the file as long as the score is not equal to 0. And once the value of the score has been 0, or the user has entered a 0 value, then the while loop will stop and we close the file. And that's it. Let's go and run this program. We have been prompted to enter a name and a score, as you can see in here in this printf statement. We are going to enter all the data that we had in this sequential file. So David, 200, Sam, 300, Hugo, 400, and Rob, 500. And now it's time for us to stop entering the data, so I will provide 2 zeros. And that's it. The program has stopped writing to the data and the data has been successfully written to the file. Let's go and check out the file. You can see the file has been created in here. But as we said, the data in this file is in a raw format. So even if we try to read it with Notepad or any text reading program, let me open it in here, you will be able to see that we will get some strange characters in here because, as we said, it is being stored in a raw representation and we cannot properly read it with other programs unless we use some specific functions such as fread function. This is the fwrite function, and the coming episode we will use the fread function to read back the data that we have written in this episode. So stay tuned and I will see you in the coming episodes.